Hello, my name is George Wood, and I am the host of Flights of Fantasy. This is the first television show dedicated to the world of collectible arts, comic books, cards, science fiction, horror, and the other aspects of our hobby.
With those words, an obsession was born. I was introduced to George Wood in early 2013. I had heard that Gaming in the Clinton Years was the worst series of video game reviews on the internet, but when I saw George and Mike Groves stumble their way through Sonic 2, I knew what I was watching was so much more than just a bad review. Day after day, I combed through every George Wood-related video I could find. Thankfully, there were multitudes, and was met with equal parts fascination and horror. From the scripts that read like a stream of consciousness novel, to the horrible jokes and the even worse ideas for new games, what I saw was the collective output of a group of people who viewed themselves as creative masterminds, but, in truth, were the furthest thing from it. When my fascination led me outside the core Gaming in the Clinton Years canon, to the Navigator Awards and the other random shenanigans, that opinion was just reaffirmed. When I put out my documentary in 2018, I was pleasantly surprised to find that there was a worldwide contingent of like-minded obsessives, small as it may be, who also wanted to know everything they could about George Wood. I hoped that the documentary would spur this group of obsessives to check out some of the more obscure videos in the George Wood catalog. Unfortunately, my timing couldn't have been worse. At some point after my complete histories were uploaded to YouTube, Navigator began unlisting basically every video that wasn't related to Gaming in the Clinton Years. I didn't want to see this weird obsession of mine disappear. So when I discovered all this was happening, I knew I had to do something to preserve what I could of this weird little corner of the internet. It's taken a bit longer than I would have liked, but at this point I feel as though it should be unveiled. I've decided to open a second YouTube channel, appropriately named The George Wood Archive. The purpose of the channel is simple. Any George Wood related video I can find that's been unlisted or deleted from YouTube, I plan to re-upload there. There's a lot of videos that were taken down, and being just one person, it's going to be hard for me to find them all on my own, so as I've said before, if anyone has links to any unlisted videos, or perhaps has them saved on a hard drive somewhere, let me know. I want to make this as complete of an archive as possible, and that'll be a whole lot easier if this is a community effort. I have about a dozen videos here already that I plan on uploading. I'm going to space them out over several weeks, so as to keep you guys on the edge of your seats. But I do want to talk about the first video that I'm uploading, because that one is a bit special.
Blog Talk Radio.
I'm sure you remember from my documentary that I alluded multiple times to an episode of something called The Wealthy Speaker Show, and I'm also sure that almost none of you know what that show is, so let me fill you in. The Wealthy Speaker Show was a business-themed radio program hosted by Paul Lawrence Van and streamed on Blog Talk Radio. In February of 2008, both George Wood and Tom Allen appeared on the show and spoke to Van for about an hour. There were two main points of discussion: Avatoy and their plans for a gamer-themed cruise, and the then-emerging casual games market. But the show meandered into other topics as well. Most interestingly, George Wood's background and the creation of Flights of Fantasy. As far as I know, this is the only place on the internet that goes into any detail regarding Tom Allen and George Wood's personal lives, and the earliest behind-the-scenes details regarding Flights of Fantasy. For those reasons alone, this episode of The Wealthy Speaker Show was probably my most valuable resource for putting the documentary together. All that being said, I'm almost certain that nobody else knows about it, because, as far as I know, the only place you can hear it is on Blog Talk Radio's website, and who the hell regularly browses Blog Talk Radio anyway? Hell, I don't even remember how I found it in the first place, so I'm just glad that I did. So before all else, I want to get this up on YouTube so it can actually have a real audience that it's deserved for over a decade. So that's going to be my first upload. But in the coming weeks, you'll see a lot more ridiculous George Wood videos reappearing back on YouTube, including one in particular that's been requested several times since the documentary first went live. What's it going to be? For now, I'll just keep you guessing.